When I go out in the community and I'm speaking at all these different civic organizations and churches and these adult groups, they are completely in the dark about what's going on in Little Hunt County in their backyard.
Nobody seems to know it's here until you need it. I didn't. From the very beginning, from the very first night at the hospital, they sent someone to sit with us all night.
The region that Hunt County is in leads the state in crimes against children. Hunt County leads the region with, in the most recent book, there was over 600 confirmed cases of child abuse in Hunt County in 1 year alone.
The Hunt County Children's Advocacy Center is a place where children can come if they have experienced some type of abuse, and we give them the opportunity to use their voice, and we have trained professionals that talk to them and walk them through the process, and it's also a safe, child-friendly environment for them to come to as well.
We're the first stop in the investigative process for child abuse victims, whether that be physical abuse or sexual abuse. We're the first place to come to get that case started.
I think it surprises a lot of people to know that this is such a great need for so many kids, and that so many kids do experience trauma. I think it's something that a lot of people are uncomfortable talking about, but it is something that's happening every day.
They are our smallest, most vulnerable victim, and by us being able to provide resources for the families, not only the child victim themselves, but the non-offending caregiver, it empowers the families to help these kids get on the road to healing, processing what has happened to them, let the child understand that it doesn't define who they are, and that they can go on and have a wonderful life ahead of them. And I think just by getting the word out there of what we do has had a large impact on other people beginning to see the necessity for a child advocacy center.
Law enforcement or child protective services will bring the child in for a forensic interview. That interview is recorded and saved and used to help build their case. And then after that outcry is made, we have a whole host of therapeutic and crisis services that's available to that child and that family, that non-offending caregiver.
I think it's probably really hard to describe to someone, and especially to a child, how much the mission of this organization means to the people who work here and to the people like the board and the community that support this organization, how much that kid means when they walk in this door to us. And what has happened to them is important, but making sure that they work through that and that they get past that and that they understand that it's not their fault.
To me, this is my town, this is where I'm from. I want people to feel invited. I want them to know, there's a place like this to help people. So each one of these children on here, they represent, a lot of things. They have their arms up in there and they represent joy and freedom and carefree, which kids are supposed to have. They don't need to have such heavy hearts. They don't need to have those moments where someone's been mean to them or someone's taken advantage of them or someone hasn't respected them. They don't need those moments. They need to be a kid.
More of us than you realize have been touched by child abuse in some way. If we haven't experienced it ourselves, we know someone, or maybe we have a family member who has, or a friend. And I think it's a very easy cause to really understand why it's needed.
I grew up in Hunt County, and later I started my business. So I've seen this firsthand, the difference in the lives of these victims. Now it's easy just to give money, but being on the front lines is actually the tough part. I don't actually know how the staff at the center do what they do each day. I mean, it's not a pleasant day's work, but the bottom line is without the center, the kids and their parents would have nowhere else to go. Myself, I've been involved for over 10 years now as a donor. I feel it's my moral duty to support the center and the victims they serve. As a board member, I know those donations are spent wisely and not taken for granted, which is important because the center actually survives on donations and grants, and every dollar does make a difference.
People like to give to things that make them feel good, and this does not make people feel good. People don't want to talk about it. They want to sweep it under the rug, or that only happens to other people, or that only happens in other towns. So it's hard for people to get motivated to give and to volunteer because what we do is not pretty. but it's so important. If you don't fix and treat the problem and help these kids now, what's going to happen when they become adults? The cycle will continue.
I do what I do because of a childhood friend. And knowing that I have been able to make a difference in just one child's life makes me keep walking through that door every day.
It's just indescribable, the work that these staff members do for the community and the board, and it's just very heartworthy. It's just very meaningful work, and what better way to make our community a better place but to help children who need advocates to speak for them and to help them through probably one of the worst times in their lives. And the people here are so compassionate, and they love every child that walks in this door with open arms.